Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly? I think we're just getting started.
Medic!
I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
Sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 590 of the Overseas Connection. It's August the 2nd, 2020, and we're a gaming podcast for the more wise and sometimes mature gamer. We like to stay a little bit off centre and not follow the crowd and just have a good time. We broadcast weekly on Sundays at 9 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. West Coast, 4 p.m. East Coast, and 3 p.m. Central. You can find us streaming live on twitch.tv/OCPodcast and youtube.com/OCPodcast. Tonight we have a stellar cast with us. We have the man, the statue himself, Mr. Peachin. How you doing, Pete?
Thanks, Phil. I'm there in the background, always watching. You just can't see me tonight if you're viewing this. Just one of those things. It's not a loss. I'm still Ginger. Thanks for having me.
That's okay. I see the practice are going very well for one of those street performers. Also, we have the lovely Kim Woods. Kim, how you doing?
I'm good. So, another one of those weeks, I guess.
And spinning the decks tonight, the one and only Mr. Greg DeLacy. Good evening, Greg.
I am excited and nervous all in the same breath. We might be just doing things right this time. I could be totally wrong, though. So hopefully if you're listening, you can let us know if we have an echo, if you can hear us okay. That would be great to know, because God knows the last time I spun the decks, it didn't go so well.
Greg, someone says you need to check your WhatsApp. I think it's Chinny. So
I will check my WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yep.
While you do that, I did introduce myself. I'm Phil, Filthy on Xbox and everything else, and I'm your host this evening, one of your hosts this evening. So let us find out what we've been doing for the last week or so.
Hang on. Hold on to that thought, because I was checking my WhatsApp. You know, this is what happens when somebody decides they want to send me a message in the middle of a show.
yeah.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
I have to say thank you to John Mouse. John, you bugger. He said in the chat there's an audio problem, and then followed it up by saying you all sound too damn sexy. Thank you, John. Miss you. We need to get him back on the show. Yeah, we definitely need to get him back on the show. Anyway, so what's been happening this week? Kim, what have you been doing?
Actually, this week's been pretty quiet. Pretty much same shit, different week. But it is the first of the month, so you know what that means. Calendar time, people. We have Farmer Girl. So that's that one. I'm telling you, I think he won August this month, because I'm a little disappointed in the firefighters this month. It's just not my thing. And we have, what's his name? Oh, Kane and Millie. I'm hoping Kane's the dude and Millie's the horse, but who knows, really? I mean...
You never know. It could be transitioning, as you said earlier.
Maybe he's Millie. I don't know. But anyway, there you go. That's the calendars for the month. So... other than that, that's pretty much it. I didn't really anything big or exciting happen this week, so it's same shit, different week.
So more
Your
babies.
camera feed, by the way, is going all over the place. So there's at least something going wrong tonight on the podcast. It wouldn't be the same without it.
I was gonna say, didn't we lose Pete? Because I only see you two now. So.
Yeah, we have lost Pete temporarily.
Okay.
He's going to restart his modem. And let's see how he gets on.
That would explain why Kim's camera went all crazy.
Aha! Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't me, so.
No.
Makes a
But
change.
apparently, camera, your camera, Kim, is the control camera for everything.
Huh.
There's that.
That's not a good idea, but all right. Um,
So bit behind the scene, everything's fine. Everything
Right.
we're a swan
Pay
gliding
no
across the
attention to the
pond,
fire.
Pay no
and
attention to the man
underneath
behind the
the
curtain
legs
because
going like this.
oh, I did get a new cup for my birthday. I got a new Yeti cup. So
Exciting.
yeah, so there's that. So thank you, Gary, for that. My friend Boomer got it for me and sent it to me all the way from Baltimore. So
Very cool.
all right.
Excellent. And Mr. Lacey, what have you been up to?
It has been an interesting week. So uh, the gym opened up, but it didn't really open up because, of course, California went back into our little recession stance. Not recession stance. Our phase 1 stance, I guess, is the right way to say it. So what ended up happening was they said gyms could open up only for outdoor activities. Which,
What?
exactly. There's not many gyms I know that are
Our
really.
local, yeah, our local gym does have an outdoor area. I mean, believe it or not, in the UK, we have a gym with an outdoor area.
So my gym also has an outdoor area. It's called a pool, and so what they ended up doing is they said, oh yeah, we've got equipment and stuff out there. So I was like, oh, interesting. So they pulled everything out. So I go there, and unfortunately, it's just a few pieces of. I mean, like 2 treadmills, 1 bike. They've got a rack of weights, and then they've got a cable machine, and then a couple free benches, and it ultimately you get in there, and as soon as there's more than 10 people trying to work out, you're just waiting for stuff. So I was just like, all right, this is not going to work for me. So punted and just been working back out of the garage, doing the elliptical, doing the resistance bands, and getting in a pretty decent workout from doing all of that. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Oh, excellent. Our gym's pretty much been empty, so you can book. They've got an app where you can book a slot to go in.
I like that.
But it's been empty. It's literally been, you've been the only person in there. I don't know whether people are taking some time before, are nervous about it, but you'd think the gyms would be packed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all depends upon the fear levels of everybody. I mean, I think there was some hesitation with our gym as well of like, I don't know. But they did a pretty good job of like, making sure every other machine is unavailable. So they create that distance. What, Kim? What?
Phil.
She's taking the mickey out of me, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
It keeps expecting me to go to excellence because my fingers are like this.
You
like
do
Mr.
have
Burns.
that look about you, I have to admit. Yeah, no. So, yeah, it's just. I think there is, and for good reason, people are hesitant, right? But I stand by the notion of if you are young and healthy, the likelihood of you being at risk. Yes, you may get COVID-19. That's not in question. You still are definitely capable of getting exposed to it. But the stats and the science for the stupid that get behind the science, it actually says that young people in good health, really have a very, very low risk when it comes to this. So there's that.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying that if you're obese and you get COVID, then it's going to hit you hard. So I'm fine then.
Yeah, you're totally fine.
Kim, stop laughing.
We were talking about obesity. It is, and when they measure obesity, they don't take into account a lot of things like muscle mass, that kind of thing. They just it's your weight and your height, and it's not a good measurement because if you are a very muscular person, you are going to have a lot of weight to you, and by the obesity indexes, if you are stacked, if you will, you're gonna show up as being overweight. I had my doctor tell me that. He's like, well, if I go by the chart, it tells me that you have to lose 30 pounds. He's like, but if I look at you, I can tell you, you don't have to lose 30 pounds. So there's that.
Yeah. Well,
and one last story. And this actually happened just yesterday. So I'm sitting in the kitchen. I'm doing some prep for dinner, and Cindy's out in the backyard, basically working in the garden area. And so the way our kitchen is, there's the whole it has a window out to the backyard, but the left side of it is kind of hidden from me. So if she walks to the left, I can't see her at all. So suddenly, I just hear this crazy screaming, like bloody murder, and I'm like, holy shit! And I'm kind of laughing a little bit because it's the scream of you found something you didn't intend to find, right? And we have things like skunks and possums, so I'm thinking, maybe, just maybe, every once in a while skunks will come out and be pretty bold. But no, she went into the hose box where we have the hose wrapped up, and a rat jumped out of it over her hand and just freaked her out.
Nope, I feel you that one.
We get a lot of roof rats around this area, so it was the shocking moment. So of course immediately I'm tasked with putting out rat bait, which they took the bait. I discovered this morning that some of the rat bait that I had left out was all gone. So hopefully there's a rat in heaven now.
Let's hope. Maybe drug it back to his colony and took out some more assholes while he was at it. So.
Maybe. Let's see if we can bring Pete back in and screw the cameras up one more time.
Why not?
Is he there?
Why not? I don't. I think he might be there. I'm not positive.
We've lost Pete.
We'll only know when he actually decides to jump back in. Anyway, but yeah, so that was me. That's pretty much, and it's been work. Work has been everything else.
I hear you.
There he is.
And just on cue.
Just in time.
Cameras are all fucked up. Thanks, Pete.
I'm sorry. I'm out of breath.
Just run down to the shop, bought a new camera, run back.
Yeah. So what did the trick, Pete? What was?
Just had to restart my modem. I don't know what happened to it. It just locked up. I don't know. I ran downstairs. So I was like, oh, bloody Netflix ain't working. And it's always when you go up and go on that podcast. And I'm like, I've not done anything.
Not my fault.
It just went off. I don't know how wrong. I'm sorry, everyone.
That's all right, Pete. So we've heard from Kim, we've heard from Greg. What have you been up to?
Well, I've been quite busy actually this week. The one thing I've been really excited about is the swimming pool opened yesterday. You have to book on an app on your phone.
Right.
You can only book like 6 or 7 days in advance. So you just keep logging in every day and just booking your next session. If you cancel like 2 or 3 times, they charge you or something. They don't let you in for. No, they ban you for like 10 or 20 days or something like that.
Wait, what do they ban you for?
Just going into the centre, using the facilities. So
wait,
what?
I'm sorry, I'm confused. Didn't you say they opened it up and then?
Yeah, they've opened it up. Yeah, but on this app, you have to book. You have to create a booking, and if you turn up to that booking, that's when they ban you. If you don't turn up, I think it's 2 or 3 times they ban you from the centre for so many days. So
inconceivable.
I know, terrible. But I'm not gonna duck out on my swimming. I've started. It's good to get back into it. I feel, even though it's only started yesterday, it's nice to be back, and I feel a little bit refreshed. And I've been doing a lot of gardening as well, as I keep going on about it. But we've broke the back of it now. People say like it takes years to get a garden done, and last year we completely obliterated it and make it look like a nuclear fallout site. And then this year we've just ploughed on, and we've pretty much got most of it done now. So yesterday we finished putting some stepping stones in, grass seed. So we've got circular grass patches in the garden. So all of the gravel's in, new steps. It's all been leveled off to one level. We've got a seating area up the top. The patio has been finished at the bottom. there's a whole lot of graft, and it's just done there. There's a barbecue, like an old barbecue, up the top of the garden. I'm going to convert it into a fireplace, which I think will be pretty cool. That was Shell's idea, so I'm going to convert that. I don't know when I got time.
You sound amazingly responsible, like an adult.
Well,
Scary when that happens.
as this podcast, and it might come across that I've not got that much responsibility, and I'm not responsible, and I'll come across maybe as a little bit of a little idiot, should I say? Because I
We prefer Ginger.
We have met you, Pete.
Yeah, we have met you.
There is that, yeah. But I have got, I am responsible. I am sensible. I just like to play around on this podcast and when I'm with my friends because it's fun. I like fun. And I've also appeared on WhatsApp a lot this week.
That is the most shocking thing of
Yes,
all.
darling,
Actually,
Right?
we have to talk about this.
I'm not.
Response times on WhatsApp are through the roof.
Yeah, if anybody really knows me, my response times on WhatsApp normally are around a month. If you get before that, you're quite lucky. But this week I thought I've been like chipping in here and there when I can. People have got my name wrong, thinking that I was my brother, and he's even worse than me. He just doesn't respond at all. So yeah, I'm there. And even if people get my name wrong, I can take that. Mike's good looking.
He's a tall, hot drink of water, man. That he's a lovely man.
Yeah. So.
He is.
Don't put yourself down, Pete. You're not too bad yourself.
Cheers, Phil. I've
seen him in person, Phil. The camera adds a lot, but I've seen him in person.
There's someone in there. Even Greg also stop being so mean to me. So just for the listeners there, he's a bit of a meanie. But that's about it. I've been busy at work, doing a shitload of risk assessments and stuff for trying to get the building back open. Which, there's a lot of.
So give me an example. What would be a risk assessment that you would do? Like, it's dangerous if we put up a unsupported beam. Is that the kind of risk assessment you're talking about? What's your risk assessment?
Anything really, any chemical control, any work that you do working at heights, or anything that involves doing something that could cause an injury needs an assessment and a control method to make you do that safely, or to as is in our case, it's a conference centre, a B&B venue, as well as a study centre, and we get visitors, vulnerable visitors, and we have to manage those guests safely, as well as making sure our staff are safe as well. And I don't know, everything seems to be very contradictory in this country as far as advice, and people are really scared to move when it comes to bringing together groups of people. They're not doing events until October. Just going to together in one room until they pilot those and say whether it's safe to do so. Then our centre can't open, and it's a bit difficult, really. We're constrained by the government's guidelines. Open up and get some business in and get working, get people back into work as well. It's blinking hard. So, yeah.
Okay, so real quickly, I don't know if this is coincidental or not, but I think every time a car drives by Kim's window, it takes Pete's mic and lowers it.
It does, yeah.
Okay.
I told you, I'm in the room next to Kim.
Yes.
Pete's actually in the same room as Kim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dear Lord, the rumors will start now.
Yeah. Maybe Kim, we have you mute your mic when Pete's not talking. Unless you can control traffic, maybe tell him to take an alternate route.
Sure, I'll get right on that. I'll get my little orange safety vest on and.
Okay.
All right.
Just
Where are we at?
So yeah, just me. Talking of work, I'm finally starting work again a week Monday, which is fantastic news. So my contract was stopped at the beginning of April, and with everything closing down, it's been pretty tough. Bit of a roller coaster ride in the last month or so, but no, all good, all back to work. To celebrate last weekend, we had a very impromptu, short notice session on OCD&D with myself, Greg, and Jason, and that was absolutely superb. Really good fun. Can't wait to share that with everyone. And to be honest, I can't remember what I've done this week. Oh, I'll tell you what we did have. Pete, I don't know if you know it. Do you know Parkfields Grill over in Bilston?
I live like more or less. I
Yeah.
live it's from there, so I don't know why I don't know. I can't recall where it is.
It's the best Indian food I've had in many, many years.
Did you go there then?
Well, we ordered, and friends of ours went and collected it like yesterday.
Oh,
And brought it over. They recommended it. Absolutely superb. It looks
Oh.
like an old working men's club.
Parkfield. Oh, if it's the-
Parkfields Bar and Grill.
A gentleman's club or a working men's club? I'm
No,
sorry, I
working
didn't catch
men's
that.
club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
My
not
bad.
gentlemen's club.
My bad. My bad.
But yeah, really good, fantastic vegan curry.
Yeah, it is. It's Martin Street Club. I used to go there when it was a club as well beforehand. We've been there a few times. It's really nice inside as well. Very sports orientated. Got loads of screens everywhere. But
yeah,
the food's cracking. It's got a good menu. Yeah,
highly recommended.
Yeah,
So
yeah, here, Phil.
Sorry,
a few places like that as good as that round here.
Yeah, we're short of them over here. So yeah, so that's it. Who have we got in the chat, Kim? You're still on mute.
Yes, I challenged her.
Yeah, you did.
Hey, there we go. All right. Hardly Dan, Scott, Debbie, John Mouse. So yeah, there's a few been in there. So Chinny stopped by to tell us that Greg needed answers.
To look on
WhatsApp. So
look on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
Yep.
Totally
So-
threw me off. Yeah.
And my neighbours are in. My neighbours who I met last night, and they organised the curry. Jody and Mike are there. They've just said, big up Parkfield Central.
Well, welcome.
All right. Well, Jody and Mike, we're sorry you are going to be really disappointed with us moving forward.
Right?
You saw the best of Phil last night.
Yeah, don't go that far. Quite a few beers and gins. Anyway, back to the show.
Well,
Let's talk about some games, shall we? It's a video game podcast.
is it?
Shall we play a game?
I want to play a game.
You are one pathetic loser.
Okay, so let's start with the monthly freebies. Kim, please.
Oh, sure. Let me switch over there. I got, I got sidetracked. It happens. I apparently did, because Jesus, I'm not even on the monthly. All right, here we go. Your monthly freebies for August. These are the free games that technically really aren't free, but whatever. We have Portal Knights, Override, Mech City Brawl, MX Unleashed, Red Faction 2, and those are all Portal Knights and MX Unleashed are available now through the 31st or the 15th, and Override and Red Faction 2 are available the 16th through the end of the month. So we'll scroll down to the PlayStation Games of the Month. And we have Fall Guys, Unlimited Ultimate Knockout. Is Lee Majors in this game?
Possibly.
Okay. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered. That's your PlayStation Plus games for the month. And then for your Twitch Prime games, we have Baseball Stars 2, Blazing Chrome, Chroma Squad. A lot of Chroma going on. Ironclad, King of the Monsters, Metal Slug 2, Sin Goku 3, Shaq Fu 2.
You're welcome, by the
I
way.
know,
for,
right?
For getting the name done for you. Yeah.
Otherwise, it had been terrible. Shaq Fu 2, Shock Troopers 2nd Squad, and Treachery in Beatdown City. Boy, that sounds bad, doesn't it? Beatdown and Warsaw, SNK 40th Anniversary Collection. Holy shit, hold on to your hats. We have, and I quote here, Alpha Mission, Athena, Beast Busters. Okay. Bermuda Triangle, Chopper 1, Crystallis, Fantasy, Guerrilla War, Ikari Warriors 2, Victory Road, Ikari Warriors 3, The Rescue. Okay. Munch Mobile, seriously. Ozma Wars, POW, Prisoners of War, Paddle Mania, Prehistoric Isle, Paddle Mania. Oh dear lord, what's that one about? Psycho Soldier, SAR, Search and Rescue, Suzuki versus Commander, Street Smart, Time Soldiers, TNK3, Vanguard, and World Wars. And that was just like one game there, people, I swear. Stadia Pro for August. We have Strange Brigade. Oh, nice. Love that game. Kona. Didn't like that game. Metro 2033 Redo. Just Shapes and Beats. Oh.
That could have been so worse.
No.
Thank you. That was a monster list.
That was something.
Can we just real quickly talk about Twitch? I mean, they threw just a ton of free games up. Granted, they're not the most iconic games or exciting games, but still, it was just like this wall. I looked at it. I'm like, this can't be right. No, it is right. It's just this wall of games.
Yeah, like Paddle Pandemic. I don't know what to say about that one.
Also, Pete, I think we need to request moving forward you constantly be in motion because you're so good at stoically sitting there. I keep thinking your camera froze again.
I don't know what you want me to do. You know?
Dance, baby.
Get up to the chicken dance.
Walk around the room.
Yes. Strategy. Yes.
Okay. Right.
I'll put something on my head. You know, there's all those wind things. Like,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Some
I can send you a few.
DD
We have
boppers
quite a
on
few.
the top of your head. There you
a minute.
Yep.
Look like Rolly of a puppy dog pals. Anyway. Yeah, boy.
One of those nights.
Yoo-hoo.
So let's talk about games that we've played, shall we?
Sure.
Let's.
And we shall start with Mr. DeLacy.
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
Let me get ourselves situated so we can start with Grounded. This is a game I think actually quite a few of us have played,
Yes.
so we can definitely talk about it. I am really you gotta love the YouTube commercial. Let me see if I can skip past that in a second. But I'm really pleased with this game. I've got it on the beta, and the beta, for those that didn't know, Grounded, they had a beta. It was like for the Insider program. It was a 30-minute long demo of the game, and it honestly didn't show off a lot of the game. The tutorial was kind of missing from it, so you just kind of felt like there was no direction to it. So I was leery. But as I went into the demo and I started playing it and I started seeing some of the mechanics, I was like, this actually is kind of cool. It's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in a video game. I don't want to call it an RPG because you don't certainly have any kind of skill tree that you're leveling up, but you do have equipment and things that you'll craft. So it's kind of got a Minecraft vibe to it in a way. And your goal is to try and get your basically get out of the backyard. And that is kind of uncovered through a story that is in a sense kind of told through objectives. They tell you to go to certain places to basically investigate certain things, and then suddenly you start to get an idea of what your goal is and how you're going to get out from the backyard. I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't played it, but I will say if you do have fear of spiders, this game will do nothing to help that. Although they do have a setting, by the way. They do have a setting that it tones down the spider situation.
Yeah.
Do we know what it actually does?
Yeah,
though?
so it goes...
I didn't...
Number one,
Okay.
it's about 5 levels. So the full level are these big spiders that... I don't have a phobia about spiders, but I see these and I crap myself.
Yes.
The sound, everything you see the grass moving like the trees, almost like Jurassic Park. So you can see something in the distance is coming. You can't see what it is, and you see the grass stalks waving. But on the meter to actually make them less, if you put it right down to the bottom, it's just a white blob, and there's no sound. As you go down the different steps, it removes a couple of the legs, so there's not so many legs. Then it removes the fangs, I think, and eventually it's just like a torso and a head with some eyes on, and eventually I think it's just a white torso without any legs and no sounds. But all the fun it certainly adds to the drama of it. And to be honest, they're not even necessarily the scariest or the most threatening of creatures once they get going.
No, early on, I think in the game, it you feel more vulnerable. Once you start crafting certain things, I think um, it, it doesn't feel as dire. My biggest fear in this game, and I shouldn't say fear, but the biggest challenge for me in this game was developing a system for capturing water. Because that involves some different components. So you had to chop down some dandelions, dandelion weeds, and that would basically um, get you wood, if you will, for building it. And then you had to capture spider webs.
Yeah.
So I had to get myself around spiders to be able to capture this water. But once I got this, one of the biggest challenges in this game for me was finding fresh water. You can look up, and I didn't realize this early in the game, but I figured it out eventually. If you look up in the morning, because this has a day-night cycle, you'll see dew on the grass leaves. And if you go and take a hammer or an axe to a blade of grass, you can knock the water droplet off the dew. It hits the ground and it'll roll around for a bit, and you can run over and drink it. So, really kind of cool mechanic. But of course, you're constantly trying to find them, and as the day wears on, you see less and less of those dewdrops. So finding something that could capture the water and allow me to drink it later was critical for me feeling safe.
Yeah, so you can make a canteen to carry water around with you. What I've actually done is I've set my base up next to the mysterious device, or near the mysterious device, and there is a carton of fruit juice, which drops big drops of fruit juice that not only give you water, but also give you a bit of a food boost as well.
Oh,
so every morning I run over a couple of, and all the measurements are in centimeters, which is brilliant. So all the markers say centimeters.
Yeah. It throws me off. I'm like, I think I'm close. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what this stupid centimeters nonsense is?
It feels like a really big map to start off with, but very quickly, as you get further on and more used to it, you actually find that it's not actually that big a map. You can get from one side to the other in quite a quick time. But I mean, personally, I'm loving it. Really enjoying it. It is difficult. The learning curve is difficult, and those, whether it's the spiders or the ants or the little larva, I set up my lean-to. So you have a lean-to as your sort of respawn point. I set it up outside my building as I was building my house. And I'd run back and forth, and I got pallets set up for planks and grass and everything, and running back and forth. And all of a sudden, about 6 enormous larvae turn up, kill me. And when you're killed, you drop your rucksack with everything you're carrying. And they had me trapped in my house. I couldn't get to the lean-to because every time I went outside, they killed me. Couldn't get to my bag with all my kit in. So they literally sat outside the house, circling the house all night.
Yeah.
And the food level and drink level was going down and down and down. And in the end, I just had to, because there was no way. The only way you can sleep through a night is to get to your lean-to and sleep through. And it was great. I mean, it was frustrating, but great. Really enjoying it. From a story point of view, you can tell it's early access. The story only goes to a certain point, and then it says, right, now it's free world, go off and do what you want. There are little quests to get research points that you can exchange for blueprints. But yeah, it's a great little inverted commas game.
Yep.
And a pleasant surprise after I played the demo, because I was looking forward to it, played the demo, and I just wasn't too sure about it from the demo. But this is great.
Pete, have you played this?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts?
Well, when it first kicked off, I loved the theme tune to the game before I even started. Wow, it's like an '80s track. Uh, I yeah, I did see the old menu thing about it being in development and it might freeze and all that lark, and then there was the arachnophobia setting. I was like, fuck that, I love spiders. Um, but I'll tell you what they do. They scare the living daylights out of you in that game. It's almost like you're playing, like a Walking Dead type game, and you've got like a big fast zombie. It's just dropped right in front of you from out of nowhere, and you've got nothing to fight it with, and you're just running. And I started off pretty bad with this game. I don't think I've played it long enough. Really, I found it like badass difficult. It was really really tough. The thing I couldn't find was water, just the same as you, Greg.
Right.
I found like on my checklist, on my objectives, that I was getting pretty much everything, and I found the device and worked out where the lasers were, how the lasers were being obstructed, and blah blah blah. But I just couldn't, I just couldn't work out how to get water. And then I went into the night, and I was just walking around, and it was pitch black. The one thing I just didn't really look into neither was a tutorial for the crafting.
Right.
I'm not great at Minecraft. I don't really enjoy crafting in Minecraft neither. I just find it difficult. I just never fell onto that wagon, and
I'm with you.
I just never did. I just found it awkward, and this is my mistake with games. I never get to. I don't like to look into them because I hate spoilers. And I look at a bit of a trailer, and I try not to listen to all the blurb, and I don't read up in like what the game's about. I just look at the trailer and just think, oh yeah, that looks pretty. I'm going to play this game. And then I've done that with this, and I'm playing it, and I'm like, oh, it ain't really my type of game. But because I love Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, I love the environment that you're playing. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and you get to see things in a distance like the house and the oak tree, and I've managed to get to the oak tree and base, and I can't work out how to get to the objective, which is like behind two doors. I can't work it out. I've tried to go around the other side of the tree, and I keep getting legged by this wolf spider that just eats me up every single time.
Yep.
Yeah, just a hint. There's a couple of switches in that room with the two doors.
Oh, I felt like I've gone around the whole room pressing A, just like crawling. Sorry.
Right in the center of the room, there's some red and green buttons.
I found one set of was there like an activating switch or something like that? But
yeah.
I couldn't do anything with that. Anyway,
yeah.
I just found myself like just doing that whole thing along the wall and just keep pressing. I was just like, oh, this just ain't bloody working. So I got bored of looking at that office for about 10 minutes. So I just thought I'll move back out into the wilderness. I've ended up being in the dark, walking around because I forgot. I didn't know how to craft a torch, which is pretty simple actually. When you start going underground, you pick those little things anyway that glow in the dark. So I was walking around aimlessly in the pitch black, and it is literally black, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Nighttime scares the crap out of me in this game. It's like you do not want to be out in the dark.
No.
Because even the smallest things, those red mites, knock you for 6. I mean, they're only tiny things, but they'll easily kill you.
Well, the other thing that happened at night as well. I fell into like a ditch of water, and I couldn't get out. So not only was it black, I was running out of air, and I found whatever direction I was moving in, I was drowning, and I was ready to throw the controller at the telly, but I just thought to persevere. I ended up like dying. It took me I was 10 minutes treading water. It just wasn't nice. I was just like kind of waiting, thinking, well, the time will pass very quickly and it'll get light very quickly, but it didn't. And I was just like, this is starting to get a bit repetitive and boring and frustrating all at once. But on a whole, I think the game's really pretty. I think the whole universe itself it looks massive, but I don't know whether it is or not. Like you say, Phil, it doesn't probably end up feeling.
It is pretty big. In all fairness, it is pretty big. And there are hints of certain areas that will be opened up later on.
I was going to say,
there's a wall of rock along the pool, and there's some different coloured rocks in one place that you think, yeah, that could be knocked through, and something, and maybe they'll there's a big expanse of water, so maybe there'll be boats. But I mean, this game's on Game Pass, and
Yeah.
for PC and console, it's another, and it's the best-selling game on Steam this week.
Right.
Yeah, and let's just point it out. I think this is a huge surprise because I think when they first announced this game, it got panned because people were like, "Oh, this is the kind of quality game we can expect now that Microsoft had bought Obsidian." This is the first game that they've brought out outside of Outer Worlds, and I think the realities are people didn't really give this a fair shake when it first got announced because this is a real surprise.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't look into the games too much when they first put them out there. I don't really judge a book by its cover as such. And playing this game, I just thought it is really really good. I'm not on the whole. I'm not on the whole desire to be crafting things all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's a combination. It feels like a combination of Minecraft and Rust. And I haven't tried the multiplayer yet.
No, not either. My understanding though is it is like a single instance, so you're not going into a shared world per se. It's your world, so you can invite people into it to help you out. Or you can go to your world and help you out.
Yeah, so it's I've had to play around with setting up. So there's the single player save game, but also there's a multiplayer save game. So that is saved. That it's like a different session. But if I set up a multiplayer game, it's separate to my single player save. So you're starting from scratch. So one of the things I'd say for people who haven't played yet, if you're thinking about playing multiplayer, set up a multiplayer game and get that going. So you've gone through the tutorial and everything else. If you want people to join you.
I'd recommend that anyway. I think, Phil, because when I seen that about no enemies coming and it's safe, I just thought, no, I'm just gonna go straight into it. I don't want to mess.
Well, there's two modes. There's multiplayer, which is like the single player, but there's 4 of you. So there's the spiders and everything else, and you share resources and anything that someone learns from a blueprints point of view, everyone else has access to. But there's also a creative mode as well, which is you can have as multiplayer.
Yeah.
Which is there isn't the
it's not the story,
the things that will kill you. There's not the story.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get in that creative mode. I take it all the resources must just be available to you to just build whatever you want.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's good, but I wish that I watched that tutorial. Because I went through all that painstaking process, filled my pants with poop like loads of times with spiders running after me, and then like after a day later, Phil's like, "Oh yeah, look at this tutorial. I'll show you how to build stuff," and I'm like, "Oh, I've just watched that beforehand." I managed to find some water, and it was like you said, Greg, under the grass. I didn't realise it was the whole the dawn grass dew. I didn't.
Right.
I'm still shitting myself with what's around me. I'm not really taking in the whole time zone thing, so that's handy to know. But I think I'll go back to it. It's bloody hard, man. Yeah. There we go.
Kim, I know you haven't played it yet. Are you planning on?
I downloaded it, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'll give it a test run, but yeah, I'm also not a big Minecraft crafting sort of person, so I don't know, hit or miss. We'll see.
Fair enough.
But I'll give it a fair shake and try it out. Because I mean, I did download it, so I might as well try it out. I mean, I'm sure Anthony will love it, so because he likes Minecraft and the crafting and all that. So
yeah. And it is frustrating in some ways if you don't like crafting, having to find the right bits and pieces, the right ingredients for something, and you're having to trudge back and forth. There's only certain areas where thistles are, for example. So you have to. It took me ages to work out where the thistles were to make different weapons and things. And
Well, and that's like the canteen, Phil. You brought up the canteen. I have no freaking clue where to find grubs. Now, I haven't made a shovel. I have a feeling I have to have a shovel to find the grubs. and then I can make a canteen.
Yeah, so I haven't dug one up yet, but you'll see in certain areas you'll see the ground moving.
Right.
As if there's a snake or something underneath the ground. Apparently, if you use a shovel there and dig them up, a grub comes up, it attacks you, you have to kill it. And then you've got grub stuff. So who knows?
Cool.
Anyway.
The other thing I come across as well in the game was moths like spraying loads of yellow stuff at me, and I'm like, I couldn't see the wood from the trees. It was just there was just yellow smoke everywhere, and I was just like, "What the hell am I doing?" And I just died in no time. You know, if it wants,
it's acid.
Yeah.
If I want running into spiders, it was massive moths, and I was just like, "Jeez, man!" It
and
doesn't.
The scary thing
Everything
is
wants to kill you.
The opening screen with the grounded title on has them pointing at wasps.
Oh no!
Wasps. The stuff of nightmares.
If you thought the gnats and midges flying around were difficult enough to hit, giant wasps are going to be ridiculous.
I tell you what, cool. That's gone. Sorry.
I was going to say real quick, funny moment from the game, just to kind of round this out, and I know we've talked about it quite a bit, but so I was over by the tree where the wolf spider was, and I saw a ladybug, and thankfully the ladybug did not attack me. The awesome moment, though, was because I was keeping my eye on the stupid wolf spider. I jumped on the back of the ladybug and rode the ladybug across the yard, and I was able to keep my eye on the wolf spider as I was riding the ladybug, and I was like, okay, this is pretty awesome.
Well, I saw a ladybird as well, but it got attacked by ants, so it just got this massive swarm of ants all over it, and I was watching this killing. I felt it's just like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's like watching David Attenborough program. And the one thing I noticed as well is if there's an attack on an insect with ants and you upset one of the ants, they turn around and they get red eyes, like they turn around and look at you like you've just shat on their lap, and like they start after you. And I'm like, oh my god, it's just stress that game. It's just stress. Anyway. It's great. It's free as well. It's free through the service. So it's brilliant.
Yep.
Phil, where do you want to go from here?
Well, let's jump around again a bit. Kim, you've been playing Banner Saga 2.
I have actually, and I finished it today. So I didn't realize I was that close to finishing it. I was on the last chapter, so I finished it this morning. So I'm on to Banner Saga 3. So, because I just bought it, so I might as well keep on going. Plus, if I put it down and go to something else, I'll forget all the buttons and all that crap. And I might as well just go on and beat it because it's not that long of a game. So.
Is there a big leap from 2 to 3?
No, not really. I didn't think so anyway. It's just the continuation of the story. Of they're trying to get away from where they started because the dredge are coming and they're following them, and now there's a big gigantic, I don't even want to call it a worm or a snake or whatever, that's coming out of the ground, and it's now coming after them. So they're all trying to get to the coast, I think, to get on ships to get the hell out of there. So they haven't made it there yet, but it's a neat little story. I think it's like I don't know if it's Norse or Finnish or something like that, but it's pretty neat. So yeah, Banner Saga 2. Finished it today. Like I said, I was kind of shocked when it popped up, and it's like, oh, you're done. And I'm like, huh, well, alrighty then. So I guess it's on to 3. And I didn't start 3 because I knew that once I started 3 and all the stuff you had to go through, I wouldn't get finished. So.
I did have a question. And I think you actually just kind of answered it for me, but I was always kind of curious if this game actually had like fantastical creatures in it, or if it was just more historic human on human kind of battles, but it sounds like they dipped into mythology.
Yep. Oh yeah. And there's statues along the way of like their gods and that sort of thing, and they give you a little bit of history of what they were and who they were and what they did and that sort of thing. So, and like the dredge are like these the rock, I guess you call them rock creatures, I think is kind of what they are. So I mean, like I said, and you've got this giant snake that's come up out of the ground, and I mean this sucker's huge. So yeah, and they have centaurs. So yeah, there's not just humans in this game, and then there's the Varl that are like, I don't know, they look human, but they have like gigantic horns. So kind of like Hellboy, so
okay.
it's kind of neat because that's the only thing I could think of. Because I'm sitting there thinking I don't know how you would describe them, but yeah, they're kind of like Hellboy. So yeah, it's pretty neat. I think some people were more disappointed in two because it was I think they kind of speeded up the combat system and that sort of thing into as opposed to what one was like. But I don't know, I didn't notice any real big difference, and I liked it just as well. Like I said, I like the story, so I think that's what's keeping me in it. So because I'm not a gigantic turn-based, kind of person, but the story's good. So
And is it so? Another question for you in terms of the
mhm.
story is I see on screen right now. There's like dialogue choices. Do your
Yep.
choices matter in the game, or is it just kind
Some
of?
do and some don't. It just it depends on what point of the game you're in. Some of the choices matter. Um, it's like the battles. Sometimes the battles you're gonna lose, and sometimes that matters because if you win, you might have a different outcome than say if you lost. So it kind of depends. Like I said, it's not always real clear that if you make this one decision, because like one part I had to decide if I wanted to take this League of Followers with me or if I want to just leave them, and I was kind of pissed off, so I decided to leave them, and I think I killed like 100 and some people because I left them behind to starve. So of course, I felt guilty about it, went back, restarted it, and brought them along. So you know, but then there's other choices that you make that doesn't have an effect on it one way or another. So,
Hmm.
like your typical RPG. So, yeah,
Okay.
I'm
Excellent.
liking it. Like I said, I'll start 3 here soon. So, I've got a day off, I think Tuesday. So, I might do that. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And Pete, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Ori and the Blind Forest.
Nice.
Not a typical game that I'd play personally. I'm usually into my big hitters, action-packed shoot 'em ups and big mainstream games. But just lately with Game Pass coming out, well, I say just lately. It's been a while now, hasn't it? But I've really broadened my horizon, and I think Robin recommended it at one point, and I just saw, I'll download them both, the Blind Forest and is it Will o' the Wisp. And wow, this game's like, it's a 2D platform action game. Um, it's just stunning.
It is
You play
beautiful.
as this you play as this orphan, um, just following all of the, well, I suppose following something. Is it scene or sane or something like that? It's like this spirit, and there's it's all magical stuff anyway. Yeah, you're just like this little white guardian spirit, and you're going through all of these different areas of this wilderness, and it's just stunning. The game is, the graphics are so good. Now I think I'm starting to get, as playing lots of games, or being an avid gamer. You think to yourself that you're never ever going to be at a point where you're going to start to get shit at games. And playing this game, right, because there's so many colors and there's so much, it's so fast.
Yeah.
Right.
In parts, like when you're trying to get up a tree. I've set this to easy, and I don't know whether it's because of my eyesight now. I wear my glasses a lot when I'm playing games, but I found there was that many vibrant colours. Sometimes I was walking into like the prickly bushes, and I hadn't even noticed they were there. And I was like, "Why am I dying?" And then I focus in, and I'm like, "Oh my life!" And it's just, it's I don't know, man. It's really testing my eyes. Um, it is a great game, but I think now I'm at that stage where I'm on that tipping point, and I can only go downhill now. By setting all my games to possibly easy with games like this and taking my time a little bit more. I've stuck about 6 hours into this game, and it says I think I'm almost 50% into it. So I think I'm doing like what your average Joe would do in this game. Uh, I'm taking my time with the collectibles and trying to enhance my skill set, and it's it's just brilliant. It's a real good game. Your skill set progresses all the way through it, so you can do different things, um, yeah. You got different powers. You got jumping abilities, and you can bounce off enemies, enemies themselves, or their spores or their little lasers that they shoot out. It's real good. Definitely worth it. If you've not played it before, give it a go. Download these two games. I've not even played the other yet, but I know that I'm going to love it. I think they're great. So yeah, that's what. Sorry, Ori. Yeah, it's cool.
There is no shame, Pete, on playing games on easy.
Right? Exactly.
There is no shame at all.
Phil,
there is plenty
enjoy
of
the
shame.
story. Don't get stressed.
There's plenty of shame though for having bad eyes and dying on the prickly bush.
Nobody wants to die on the prickly bush. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Anyway,
Phil, I'm definitely the type to play hardcore on or difficult on Call of Duties. Gears of War, I love to complete it on insane. I love a challenge, but I think it's purely because of the pretty colors, the graphics, and everything. So it seems in some parts it seems like you have to move as quick as like you would in Sonic, and it's just too much. It's like a color overload, and it just completely throws me. Where it's one of those. I'm definitely at that tipping point now. I ain't ashamed to say it, but you just think that you're never going to get there, and I'm there now. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the club.
We'll teach you the secret handshake later.
I'm sweating so much in this loft. It's so hot tonight.
Yeah, it's a bit moist. So I've been I picked up Shadow of Mordor on Game Pass, which is the second of the Mordor games, and it's superb. I know it's been out a couple of years, and I played the first one, and really enjoyed it, completed it, 100%ed it, and held off going back into this, and it's just great. It's I'd forgotten how much fun it was killing orcs. All the different characters of the different captains of the orcs that you come across, the different missions you have to carry out, the running around, throwing yourselves around, different wraith powers and powering up. Absolutely love it. Superb.
And they improved on the Nemesis system, right? That's what you're talking about with the captains, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'm about 4 hours in, and it says I'm about 5%, and I've just been killing left, right, and centre, and killing captains and all sorts, and actually haven't started the Nemesis part yet. So I've just managed to get an upgrade where I can send a death threat to a captain, which upgrades his level, and then he becomes my nemesis. So it's slightly more complex than the first one, and to be honest, the story quest progression isn't very smooth. Quite often I'm wandering around trying to work out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing, because quite often you have to reach a stage of leveling up before the rest of the story opens up. But just before we came on tonight, I found a new area and had a whole section with Gollum. So Gollum was leading me through a mission, and I had to kill various orcs and look for assassins and all sorts. Great game, superb. Sound design is fantastic, looks superb, and again, definitely one to try if you've got Game Pass if you haven't played it.
Yeah, I've not played this.
I think it's quite similar to. It feels a bit like a Lord of the Rings version of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Right.
It is in fact very similar to that. You've got various upgrades in your powers, sort of stealth powers and fighting powers.
Are the games as long as Assassin's Creed? I find Assassin's Creed probably a bit too big.
Yeah, I mean it is fairly. As I say, I've played for 4 or 5 hours now, and it says I'm 5-6% through. So maybe I'm just killing as many captains as I can, and getting skill points to upgrade my character. Because I'm not able, unlike Assassin's Creed, you always knew where the next. Yes, there were side missions, but you always know where the next part of the story is.
Yeah.
With this, I'm I'm really struggling to find the next part of the story.
Okay.
And I don't know whether also it's because they've released so much DLC
Yeah.
that gets mixed in as well and blurs the lines of what the main quest is against all the side missions.
Yeah.
I remember,
I think
was there a big controversy about the DLC on this game, or was it a like a pay to win Game Pass or something that they did?
I'm not sure actually.
I remember there was a
they
big
had
hubbub.
a deal. Yeah, about
Yeah.
the what the hell, like loot boxes.
Yes.
Yeah, they had loot boxes, or I don't remember now exactly what they called them. It was a loot box, and they had issues with it, and eventually they just took them out. So.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, with a game this size, I'd rather like if it was obvious where the the real story missions were, then I'd probably invest my time into it. But as you say, Phil, if it's that's what I thought when you said just 5% or 6% into the game. But I'd have thought that it had just added all the side missions in as part of that percentage, and you could just fly through it. But if you can't at all, then I'm just not gonna. I don't think I'll.
Maybe you can, but it's not obvious. I mean, at the moment, I'm going around getting collectibles because that's the only thing I can see to do until it pops up and says it's a new quest.
Yeah.
So, but it's good fun. I mean, it certainly broke the. I've been playing State of Decay 2. That's one of the other games I've been playing. I completed that when it first came out and saw that they'd released more DLC and everything, and went back into it. And I've been playing that for the last month.
That's a bit, well, isn't it? Though.
Yeah, that's another one. Again, you can push through, and you can just do the story, but again, it's a State of Decay 2, another Game Pass game. It's fantastic, really good. For those that don't know, State of Decay 2 is a zombie survival game where you're managing and building a community, coming across other survivors, fighting zombies, obviously, and building your base and adding various upgrades and everything. Great game, and they've added a lot of content to it, but you can just get lost.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, that was
seem to be getting lost.
That was the biggest challenge I had with State of Decay 2. It was getting lost, but also I kind of got lost in the management of my people, because that to me was the most overwhelming aspect of the game. It was all the constant personalities and trying to make everybody happy or figure out who I just needed to kick out.
Yeah, so they've added since they've released this Juggernaut edition, and they've added a new mode to it called Green Mode, and it's supposed to be less challenging than the main story, so you can enjoy, the story more. And I completed it on hard and played for quite a while on normal. I think the problem is that with Green, I now have too many resources. I've got so much resources, I've got nowhere to store them, and so the food's going off. And I've got about 5 cars outside my base just full of rucksacks of supplies because I've got nowhere to store them. Gotcha. So I'm thinking of changing the difficulty level back up a bit. But one thing I have been playing is the multiplayer, the Horde.
How does that work?
Game.
Yeah. How does
so
that work?
It is literally a Horde mode. So there's only one map. It's called Daybreak. There's only one map, and you are protecting a technician who's fixing a satellite receiver.
Okay.
And you've got a sort of base area, which is just an open, like, playing field, couple of basketball courts with barriers, sort of 10-foot high barriers, and there's some ramps and ladders to get over. And then over the barriers, you've got a wall of sort of fields or a park, and the zombies come in waves. And there's various different types of zombies. There's your normal everyday zombie. There's your infected, and infected have got red, and they've got red eyes. And if they bite you, they make you ill. And if you don't have medicine, you'll die eventually. And there's 4 people playing at once. I've just been playing with randoms, and it's just going through waves of people. It's about, I think, 7 waves, and it is really difficult because you get to wave 4, and there's just hundreds, and they just absolutely hammer you. It's good fun, and I was doing it mainly for if you play the Daybreak, you get points that you can use in the main game.
Nice.
So I was doing that.
Okay.
But
I found that I got lost when it just started to expand. The map started to expand, and I felt like Greg says, you lose control of either your people or your base because you looted that much locally around you, and you feel like you've got a good setup, and you don't really want to move anywhere, and you move further down the map, and you're putting yourself more at risk or your people at risk because they start to get invaded by the infected, or you run out of resources yourself to survive out as you go further afield. And it is a tough game, man. It's a tough game. It's good.
And
that type of game.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. The green mode is too easy. You've
Right.
got too much resources, and you don't really lose a lot of people. So
Yeah.
anyway, before
I was just gonna say real quick, and then I'll let you continue on. But I was gonna say the one thing I do wish State of Decay 3 maybe tries to focus in on more of a single player experience. I don't know that they will, because that's really not the core of what this game is, but they certainly hinted at that might be what they do with that trailer that we saw last week. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. Sorry.
That's okay. Now, before we go on to, there's a few multiple things that we're going to discuss, Greg, around some of the demos. Just want to catch, Pete, you've been playing Minecraft Dungeons.
Yeah, it's only a very small amount of time that I've put into it, but when my son comes around on a weekend, it's a great game that we just have half an hour on just to try and complete another mission on the map. I think I was on the desert area today, and because my son's only 7, he's one to hide in the corner and just wait for me to kill everything. And then come back at the end and just take all the loot or all of the food or all of the arrows and just leave me there, starving to death or dying or weaponless. But somehow I still managed to get through them. Kim, I think you moaned the same thing, didn't you?
I know all about that.
It's do you know what? It's a good game that we can both relate to, spend some time on, have some time together gaming because he likes Roblox as well, and he plays on that, and I really can't get to grips with that game at all. It's just nuts. But Minecraft, it does give us that time where we can spend a bit of father and son time together on games, and we just get I think we played for about 45 minutes today, and then just drop back out and played with some toys after. But it's just a little thing for us to do, and I want to finish off that first map as well. I just haven't got round to it yet. I think I've got 3 more areas to go, and I've not found the secret location either up on the west side of the map. I've not found that. I don't know whether it's an obvious thing to find, but I've got like a lava, like a mountain type map to complete up the top, northeast, and then there's one down the bottom that's completely locked, which looks like the last level. But I've not got that far yet. It's just whenever.
If it makes you feel any better, I have not found that area either.
Oh, okay.
You'll find a place that'll have look like a piece of paper, and you pick up the paper. It's like a map, I think, and that's when the secret locations unlock.
Okay.
So,
Pete, this will not make you feel better. I actually have not played this game yet. That's why I haven't.
What?
Seriously?
No, I dabbled just a little bit. But I didn't feel it, so I didn't. I haven't gone back to it. Let's just put it that way. So that's why I haven't found that area. It's because
I don't like Minecraft. I don't think that's great, But this is just brilliant. I love it. I think it's nice.
Same.
This is more my jam. I'll say that. I can get on with this. I'm with you, Pete. I don't like Minecraft at all. The actual game, the regular game. It's not for me. But this I love Diablo, so this is Diablo. This is Torchlight.
Yeah.
But it's in the Minecraft world, so I'm sure I will have a good time with it. I started to play it. I was super tired, so I put off, and then I got sidetracked with another game, Outer Worlds, and I never went back to this.
Okay. So I just had about 45 minutes on it, and that was it, Phil. Really, I was going to play Halo this week, but I got dumped. I got some stick last.
Shut up.
Didn't commit to it, and then I committed to it the next day. I said I would, and then
no, you know what? And
I got the message from Robin. Oh, we can't play. It's like, right.
And this is really on Robin, although we're going to blame it on Mark. It is all Mark's fault. But let's face it, Robin is the one that should have been there. I wanted to be there. However, when you guys were going to play, it's during my workday. And so I thought I was going to be able to get away with getting on at lunchtime and play with you. Not literally, figuratively. But unfortunately, my work decided something else, and so I was not able to. But we're going to try and shoot for next week. That's the plan.
Yeah.
I did offer to play yesterday and Friday night, but you had other plans with the missus, and so
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I plan, dropping it on me 5 minutes before ain't good. It ain't good.
Well, look, my understanding is it's only 5 minutes needed when you are with Shell.
I'm quite proud of that. It's actually half, but I'll take the 5.
That's just because of how exciting you are, Pete.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly on. So yes, finally. So the summer indie demo onslaught has continued, Greg, and you've played quite a few of them.
Yeah, so I've wanted to give all of these demos that they had up there a fair shake. So real quickly, I'm going to mention two that I absolutely hated. So I'm not even going to bring up gameplay screens of them. Nine Witches Family Disruption. The cover art looked pretty unique.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And then I got into it. It's 8-bit, which the moment I see 8-bit, you have to be a really strong game for me to care about you, because I honestly, graphics are important to me to a degree. And so once I saw it was 8-bit, it's a story adventure game. That's the best way to describe it. But it's an 8-bit art style. I could not get on with it. I could not care. I don't think you could possibly ask me to care less about it than I did. So that got kicked to the curb. Then there was Dark Chains of, and I don't really know how to pronounce this. It's the Dark Eye Chains of Satanav. I'll just say that.
We'll take that.
Sure. It's Satanav. Anyway, it is a. It looks like a hand-drawn world. So the aesthetics actually aren't bad. It's kind of again a side-scrolling adventure game set in kind of more of a Renaissance feudal time. You play this young man. You're walking around trying to solve things through basically story cues. Nothing about this excited me, so I was just I tried to give it a fair shake. It was just okay. So that got kicked to the curb. But let's talk about some good things. So the first game I played is a game called that I liked, I should say. It's called 9 Monkeys of Shaolin. So this was a surprise for me. It is a side scroller. Of course, I probably should have transitioned after the stupid commercial. But it is a side scrolling action beat 'em up game. Normally, I'm not a big fan of these. But this one is set in this era of Kung Fu, if you will. Kind of reminded me a little bit of like Jade Empire vibes. Not aesthetically, but just at the time period. And you have all of these different kind of karate moves that you're doing within the beat 'em up. It's just super smooth, for lack of a better way to put it. The action, and I'll just fast forward a little bit within so you can see it on screen. The character's just nice and smooth. It's got this cool aesthetic to it. It's kind of got a little bit of a cartoonness to it, or cell shade to it, but again, it's just this really kind of neat kung fu side scroller. We don't have a lot of these, and so I was all over this. I really enjoyed what I played of it. Obviously, it's not a full release yet; it hasn't come out, but I'm looking forward to this. I think it's got potential to be a really fun pick 'em up. Hopefully, priced maybe $20 or less, somewhere in there, or maybe on Game Pass, something like that. So that was a win, and then the other game that I was checking out, and don't judge a book by its cover because it's called Dandy Ace, and this one, again, a different aesthetic. It's basically you've got like magic using, for lack of a better way to put it. In terms of sleight of hand, so there's card tricks that you are using, and I'm trying to remember the Bastion. This whole time I was trying to remember the name of the game, Bastion. It has that kind of aesthetic to me in terms of the camera and the universe, but you get different card slots for different magic type tricks that you use against your enemy types. And again, it's a twin stick kind of shooter, but you have these different powers through magic. And I just really kind of liked the vibe of this game. It was fun. It was easy to understand and pick up. The powers all seemed to work really well. So this is another game that I could see coming out at a discount price, similar to what Bastion was, and it could be really good. So, yeah.
Excellent.
So that was Indie Corner for me. So these were the two that really stood out to me from the last go round, and I think I'm done with the indies for now, though.
Yeah, I only checked out a couple. So I checked out the remake of Destroy All Humans, for the demo there, half-hour demo. Yeah, just exactly like the original game, more polished, same humor, really really good fun, and Desperados 3. So I don't know if you're aware of the Desperados games.
No.
So
I am a little bit.
Yeah, so these were PC games back in the day. There was a Desperados game. There was a Robin Hood version as well. Basically, it's an isometric layout of the Wild West, and it's not exactly turn-based, but it's very much it's really hard to describe. It's
I've got it up on screen. It's
yeah.
I mean, it's Western times. That's probably something to bring.
Yeah,
up.
it's Wild West. So you have to various tasks and various missions through the Wild West. Your enemies have a field of view that you can see as a green bands that moves around in front of them, and it's a case of you sneaking around, blowing various things up, killing people, sneaking past, using cover. It's exactly like the old Desperados that I played in the probably early 90s. It's great. I mean, I played it for the demo. I just played it for about 15 minutes. I thought, yeah, this is Desperados, the Desperados that I love. When it comes on sale.
Real quickly, I was going to say, didn't these guys also the makers of, was it Shadow Ninja or something like that?
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me very much of the gameplay of you have the green, arrows of where they're seeing, that kind of thing.
But £48, I'm not paying £48 for this.
How much? Really?
48.
Wow.
And I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, it might be good.
Not at all.
This looks like it's worth about 16 quid.
Yeah,
that's just bonkers.
I'd be happy paying that sort of amount, but £48, just crazy.
How are they justifying that? Surely it's not on reputation. I mean, it's been years, hasn't it, since, like you say, since the series is out. That's bonkers.
So anyway, it's good fun.
It does look good.
It is a good game, and the gameplay is excellent. you know,
It's
you
not
can
what I
get
thought it
into
would
it.
be. So
It is a really good, challenging game. You make lots of mistakes, and you're having to go back to the save points quite a lot as you try out different things. And one of the things they say is try different things. You know, you will get found and shot. Just try doing different things as many times as possible. Okay, so I think that covers everything that we've played. We don't have a quiz this week, do we?
No.
I haven't seen one.
No, that's all Mark's fault.
It's all Mark's fault. So let's go into some news.
Here is the fucking news.
Okay, I'll start with Halo Infinite. So, Halo Infinite, there was a leak by one of the retailers. I think it was a Canadian retailer. Blame Canada.
It's always the Canadians' fault.
That basically said that multiplayer would be free to play, and 120 frames per second on Series X, which everyone was very surprised about. The rumor mill started and everything, you know, and then 343 came out and actually said that yes, it will be free to play. There will be no microtransactions, and it will be 120 FPS. So, following the COD path, by the looks of it, I mean, you know, COD has been incredibly successful and has boosted their sales of the main game.
Well, so actually, that's an interesting point you just brought up. I didn't even think about it, but if we really think about it, Call of Duty multiplayer is not free. It's their battle royale mode that's free. So I mean, that is a big distinction here, in that they're saying that the multiplayer is going to be free. They had, I guess, I don't know, 4 or 5 months back, or actually no, I take it back. It wasn't 4 or 5 months back. It was back in 2018 when they first were talking about Infinite multiplayer. They had said at that time they weren't going to include a battle royale mode, but apparently now there's a rumor that there is going to be a battle royale mode within the multiplayer. I think you can make it easily work within the Halo universe. And clearly this is a situation of the retailer leaked it, so they said, you know what, screw it, let's just confirm it.
Yes.
Probably they said let's confirm it on the heels of all of the bad press they were getting off of the initial reveal. They're probably like, well, this will be a good piece of news, so let's just put it out there.
Yeah, so there was all that work on all the stuff going around, and the fact that the demo that they showed wasn't polished. It didn't look very good. To be honest, I didn't notice any of it, any of the bad stuff when I was watching it, to be honest.
You know, I think that's a situation of in motion, the game looks good. When you stop and you start analyzing frames and you start looking at it in still, that's where games with really high graphical detail really show nicely. And games that maybe don't necessarily have, everything tip-top, however you want to put it, that you can see a bad shot. And on top of it, I think people were taking screenshots from the stream when it first came out, and the stream was only at 1080p. It was struggling. So if you looked at the 4K stream of it afterwards and you saw it in 4K, the game looked much better.
Yeah.
But I think it was just a situation of it was not the best foot forward for him.
Yeah.
You know, plain and simple. The brute model, once you knocked the armor off its head, the character model face was a little underwhelming, and people made fun of it, and 343 got behind that. They made fun of it too, and they called him Craig, apparently. I don't have huge issues with it. I think it will get improved.
Yeah.
Time will tell. But this certainly is a good foot forward, again, for the game. Free to play, for multiplayer, 120 frames per second. Of course, this feeds into the other rumor about Xbox Live Gold going away, because if this is free to play, then does that mean you don't have to have Xbox Live on Xbox consoles to play this game? I mean, that's still a question mark. On PC, you don't need Xbox Live Gold to play. So this will be an interesting couple of next weeks as we wait for Microsoft to do further clarification on some of the stuff we expected to hear about.
Excellent. I can't wait. And then we've got Battletoads. Battletoads is still coming August 20th on Xbox One and PC, and Game Pass members can preload it now. Now, Battletoads, the only exposure I've got to that is the Rare Replay. The original Battletoads was in Rare Replay. I never played it before, so I've got no history with it at all. What about you guys?
No.
No.
Zero history with it. Yeah.
I've heard of it.
I only
That's
know.
it.
I only know like the names of some of the characters from the Battletoads. I think Zit was one of them or something like that. But I mean, I don't care one way or the other about this game, to be honest. I was underwhelmed by what I saw from, I think it was 2 E3s back when they showed off a little bit of Battletoads. It was like, okay. I will say the reveal trailer that went along with this announcement, sorry, I'm knocking things around, shows a lot more different types of gameplay. So it's not just a side-scrolling beat-em-up, which I think is what I at least thought that was the whole game, was just a side-scroller beat-em-up, and I was kind of like, this is gonna wear thin real quick. But this has platforming levels. It's got kind of racing levels. There's a lot more depth to the game than, at least in terms of what they're having you do. So, I mean, again, it's coming to Game Pass. I'll likely give it a shot.
Yeah.
So it's a it's a Minecraft dungeon situation for me. Something I'm not terribly interested in, but I'll take a flyer on it. Why not?
Yeah, I think I'll be the same. And news from 2K, the NFL 2K update. So, I mean, 2K have always been a bit behind with the NFL, especially with Madden. They've announced they're going to feature real NFL pros thanks to a new deal the publisher signed with the NFL Players Association. It allows the company to use the names, numbers, images, and likenesses of more than 2,000 current professional NFL players. Now, I know PES, football, soccer.
Right.
Soccer, the British soccer.
I'm following you.
Yeah, PES soccer did have issues with licensing when FIFA had, or EA Sports had all the names, and so they couldn't put the proper teams on. That was solved, and since then, PES has rocketed in popularity. Still not as much as FIFA, but has rocketed. I mean, Greg, you're really into these games. Do you think this is going to have a big impact for 2K?
So the short answer to that, no. And the reason for that, so actually a little bit of background. There hasn't been an NFL 2K game in like a decade, like 10 plus years. Madden got an exclusivity license with the NFL. They still have an exclusivity license with the NFL. So NFL 2K said they're going to be making their game, but they do not have licensing rights to the teams. So they are going to have generic football teams, and now they're going to add in the real players to those generic teams. But I think at the end of the day, not having the real teams is still going to make this feel like the stepchild or the ginger for the podcast sake.
So it's going to be like the Washington football team, huh? Really?
Yes. Literally, it will be the Washington football team. And that actually now lends itself to the question of, will they be able to call it the Washington football team? Because I'm sure that was their plan, but now that that's the real name of the Washington football team, do they now have to call them the Washington Redskins? There's a little fun pun there. Anyway, I don't think this is going to make a world of difference. I think this game is going to struggle without the actual team licenses and being able to have the team logos and stadiums, making it feel like real football, real American football, or as Mark likes to say, wank ball. I don't see this being a big deal, sadly, because I think people really want an NFL 2K game, but they're not going to get an NFL 2K game. They're going to get an American football 2K game, which is not the same.
Okay, thank you. So Netflix are working on a number of game-related properties. So Variety has announced a couple of things. That a Splinter Cell movie has been in the works for several years, with Tom Hardy slated to star as Fisher, Sam Fisher, which I think is a very good move. They're also working on a feature film adaptation of Beyond Good and Evil. It's still in early development and still in the midst of looking for writers. I think that film will probably arrive before the game. Still, and finally, they've also announced that they're doing a Witcher prequel. So this is set well before Geralt and everything else, about how the Witchers actually came about. So thoughts on any of those?
Tom Hardy, what a great pick because he's my man crush. Yeah, yeah. What an actor! He's
Yeah,
he's brilliant in Peaky Blinders. If you've never seen that TV series, you've got to see that. Yeah, he's a fantastic actor, and I think it's well deserved. I'm sure he'll play that hard man very well.
Well, he played a similar role in Inception.
Right.
If you remember in Inception, the role he played there, I mean, I certainly after seeing that, I thought he could play Bond easily, a sort of more rough and ready Bond. But this, Sam Fisher could be a good movie franchise.
I hope he doesn't Bond. I think that'll. I mean, I suppose that's every actor's desire, isn't it? When they start to get a little bit old, like Daniel Craig, still quite fit, and they think, oh, well, I can be a Bond now. I hope they don't do that with Tom Hardy. It's just, it's almost like the end to someone, isn't it? When they're a Bond. But after you're a Bond, that's it. You don't get shit all then afterwards, do you? So,
well, if you're Pierce Brosnan, you get Mamma Mia.
Wow.
Scott Stubby in the chat said, "Never mind a Splinter Cell film. What about the game?" What about the game? Who knows? Who knows? I will say this: I'm less excited for Splinter Cell only because apparently my understanding is this is slated to be an animated movie, which
really?
Found very curious. Yeah, the Netflix Beyond Good and Evil is a combination hybrid live action animated, which is interesting choice. I would have thought that would have been completely animated and Splinter Cell would have been live action, but my quick note was that no, it is animated, which makes me less interested in the Splinter Cell movie.
I'm not.
I don't. There's no reason why they should have gone animated. They could have kept this live action. I think it would have been better for it, especially with Tom Hardy being the lead.
Yeah.
And I watched The Witcher, or like 2 episodes of it, and I was like this. I was like, what? So I turned it off, and I don't think I'll ever watch the prequel. But I know Kim's of a different opinion.
And
Well,
so
yeah.
am I. You have shortchanged yourself there.
Yeah, because the next season won't jump around like the first one did. It'll be more straightforward.
Yeah.
You're the guy that was like, I didn't want to watch Game of Thrones. It was too political.
Oh, I did. I loved it. It's one of my favorite TV seasons. Yeah, it was ace.
Yeah. The Witcher, I think if you had played at least The Witcher 3, you don't need to play the other 2 games. You could have played The Witcher 3 solo, on its own. I think that gives you an appreciation for the show and helps you really, because I think without the game background or having read the books, there are books that you can read. I feel like the Witcher Netflix series doesn't do enough to help people understand the world. Whereas when you have that knowledge coming from the game or coming from the books, you're like, oh yeah, I got all of this. I know who Yennefer is. I get who Trixie. Triss. Thank you, Trixie. That's a different story. Anyway, no. But I mean,
that's the Watcher.
Yes.
Well, and it didn't help that they started it with the short stories of the books and that bounced it around. If they had just started maybe different and, like I said, went straight through, but I can see why they went the short story route, but it does make it difficult to follow unless you've read the book or played the game or something like that. But the next season, like I said, it'll be a more straightforward story going into it, so maybe that'll help.
By the way, paraphrasing here real quickly, Scott Stubby says, "You're a dick." The Witcher is awesome. Again, me paraphrasing, not word for word. But,
Scott would never say that. You watch, he's going to drop it in there, but he wouldn't. He's not that way inclined.
No, you're right.
So,
He said you're a cunt.
Oh. So, Microsoft Flight Simulator is going to support VR this autumn, this fall, starting with launch on the HP Reverb G2. Now, I don't know anything about VR. All I know about is, PS, whatever it was called, and the VR that Pete's got. But yeah, I've never heard of HP Reverb.
No.
So apparently it's going to be free to anyone who owns the game, and it will come to additional headsets in the future. But Microsoft hasn't shared an exact timeline. It's also support for their head tracking system, Track IR, is also going live in the Flight Simulator beta. This is getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
The latest gameplay they've shown from the game, it looks just ridiculous. How long the majority of people will play it though, after they've flown over their house and into their house, and into their work, and into the Eiffel Tower and all that sort of thing, I think, to be honest, after 2-3 hours, most people will have dropped it and won't go back to it. But it looks stunning.
The HP Reverb VR headset is £570 on Amazon. I've never heard of this piece of kit. Looks pretty cool, but I don't. I'm happy with my Oculus Quest. It looks almost the same, apart from the headset. It looks like it's connected to it and goes over your ears, whereas you don't get that with the Oculus Quest. But yeah. Who knows how long this will stay on at that price? It's expensive.
It is expensive. But I think it makes perfectly good sense that the flight simulator would support VR. If there's ever a game type made for a headset, it's driving games and flight simulator games. So
yeah.
This makes complete sense. It is surprising though to see Microsoft embracing it from the get-go, because they've been a little anti-VR with regards to Xbox. But this is the new Microsoft. This is PC and Xbox, not just Xbox. So,
have they announced a date for when it's going to be released for Xbox? Because PC's this month, I think.
Yeah, it is this month. But my guess is they're waiting for a Series X launch, and it will come with the X.
Yeah, because then they're not going to want to show it on the Xbox One.
No.
Or Xbox One X, and have it at lower quality. It needs to be fully fleshed out and looking fantastic.
My big fear with this game, and you mentioned it right, Phil, is that I'm going to fall asleep flying. Thankfully, I will just be sitting in my chair in my office or something. But I
with
watched,
a Thrustmaster.
Exactly, with my Thrustmaster. I watched a stream of this, and it was a flight from San Francisco to Vegas, I think LaGuardia to Vegas. And it was cool.
In real time.
In real time. I did fast forward at some point, though, because I could not do it. And I realized pilots have the most boring job in the world, save for about 5 minutes coming and going. When it gets real exciting, crazy. After that, it just put me to sleep, and so that I would be the worst pilot in the world officially. I also worst truck driver in the world, because I would do the same thing behind the wheel of a big semi. Don't ever give me that job.
Okay, so that's the end of the news. Let's talk about some new releases.
I don't know if we really have a sound effect for this, but
okay.
Do this.
Oh, there we go.
Hey,
Kim, can you take us through new releases, please?
Sure, I can do that. Your new releases for August 4th through August 10th are Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout for the PlayStation 4 and PC out the 4th. As I stated earlier, no Lee Majors. It's kind of disappointment, but alright. Hellbound for PC, also on August 4th. Scully for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC on August 4th. Brawlhalla, iOS and Android, August 6th. Fast and Furious Crossroads. Really? PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on August 7th. Horizon Zero Dawn for PC, August 7th. And Inertia Drift for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 7th as well.
PlayStation fanboys are rolling over in their graves right now.
Right?
Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC.
I can hear the hate now.
I know. Hey, PC's the future, right? Sort of.
Something like that, or Discord or something. I don't know.
I've been told multiple times by Richard Webster, so there's that. Love you, Rich.
Excellent, thank you. Playdates. If you see any of us online, ignore us. No, if you see us online, drop us a message. Because if we're not hiding our status, that means we actually want to speak to people.
Maybe.
Or play with people, maybe. Or jump in a game. Just jump in a game. I hardly ever have my microphone on. But if I'm playing, multiplayer game and you can hop on. Say hello. Wave your little avatar, in Grounded. Go hello. And then get eaten. We're all there. We have a little competition called Victory Achieved. Now, Pete, you've been knocking the Victory Achieves out quite a bit recently. Why don't you tell us all about what Victory Achieved is?
Okay. Victory Achieved is a quarterly contest where you just need a console or something that plays a game and a Twitter account. So all you need to do is play that video game, complete it, wait till the credits come up, take yourself. Oh, you need a phone as well. Take yourself a selfie. Post it onto Twitter, hashtag Victory Achieved, and send it to @OC_podcast, and you'll be entered in a contest to win either $20 US or £15 in the UK, and that could be for something for your PSN account or your Xbox Live account or Steam, and that's it. It's as simple as that. You've only got to take a mugshot of yourself and complete a computer game. It's as easy as that. This next quarter is between July and September, so you've got plenty of time to enter into this. And the people who have completed games this week are Hardly Dan for completing Carrion, Bongo the Sane for completing Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2, which you mentioned last week and looks really good, and Gamer Girl 27 completed Banner Saga 2. Well done, Kim. So at the moment, these don't win $20 or £15 in the UK. They get entered into the contest, but for now, they win this.
You all have a victory's achieved. Victory's achieved. You have one. A victory's achieved.
From
that's all I ever wanted. Really, that's all I ever wanted.
It's all anybody ever needs, really. Yeah.
Thanks, Pete. So, sorry.
I was just gonna say real quick. Carry On. That's the game. You want to say you play like an alien blob or something? It's
You do,
side
yes.
scroller.
So it's what they call reverse horror. So you play the monster, taking out the humans.
Apparently, it's like Evolve, only better. So
Well, it's and also it's. I think it's 16-bit, Greg. So not quite 8-bit. Yeah.
Okay. Well, double the bits.
Yay! Always good, sort of. Maybe.
Sort of.
So we'd love to hear from you. And this dear lady is going to tell you how you can contact us. Maybe.
Possibly.
No, she's not.
She's not.
No, but I can do my best Texas accent.
Oh, right, yeah.
Dear God. Go on.
Yeah. Y'all, we want to hear from you. This here is the Overseas Connection Podcast. You can tweet us at OC Podcast. It's our OC_podcast. That will get you to us on Twitter. You can join our Facebook group, fb.ocpod.com. We would love to hear from you. Y'all just need to give us a like on YouTube or give us a good review on iTunes, and we will be forever grateful. Talk to you soon.
I am so recording that.
You should, yes.
Greg and drag.
Thank
I
you,
tell
Greg.
you what. Oh God.
Thank you. So let's
Nicole is gonna
let's
hunt me
do
down.
some shout outs and close off. Greg, let's start with you, please.
Well, actually, can we save mine for the very
Sure.
end, Phil? Let's
Sure.
take care of everybody else.
Yeah. Kim.
All right. A shout out to you guys. Fun as always. Shout out to our shatters. Let me pull up my list here to do that because I keep track because I'm old and forget. We have Hardly Dan, another TTV viewer. I don't know, maybe he never left because he was there when I fired it up earlier. So I don't know, it's been there ever since. John Mouse, Scott Stubby, Chinny, Jody, Mike, and Lord of the Mena. So thanks for stopping by chat. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and we'll do it all again next weekend. So, other than that, everybody have a good week. You need to chat, you know where to find me, and Lord knows there's a lot of you that need to chat apparently. So, not that I don't appreciate it or anything like that, but just saying. Yeah, how about you there, Pete? Before I stick my foot in my mouth any further.
Well, if you want to chat to me, forget it. Unless you want to wait. I want to shout out Beatport Official. I've never heard of this before. I was on Twitch a little bit earlier before my computer decided to have a hissy fit and drop me out of the show. But I was on half hour earlier and I come across this Beatport Official. He's got like 121,000 followers and it's just like a DJ set. Stu will be like wetting his pants like over this type of channel. But I thought it was pretty cool. Just got a DJ lineup while everybody's away from events, and I thought it was playing house music, which from the 90s, which I really liked that genre at that time, and yeah, I'll shout out them because that's pretty cool. So if you like your house music, they play all techno and all that kind of jazz as well. But there we go, jazz and techno that don't really go, does it? Anyway. Burt Williams Leisure Centre, that's where I go swimming. I was ready to file a lawsuit because I've put on 2.5 pound. But they're open now, so a shout out to them and for watching my sorry ass jump in the pool on Saturday. But hopefully, I will be lesser and much of a fitter man by Christmas. So yeah, and I will be a little bit more easy on the eye, maybe.
We're breaking out the speedos in no time.
Yeah, instead of being a big tattooed whale, like emptying the pool as he jumps in.
Ouch.
That's and I still wear speedos being fat anyway, so I'll send you the pictures.
I can confirm.
In fact, I will. I wasn't fat then. Yeah, Greg's seen speedo. But if you do want the pictures, I will reply quicker than a month on WhatsApp. I think that's me. I'll hand you over to Phil.
Thank you, and you can find Peter at Budgie Smugglers on Twitter. Yeah, thanks to you guys. One thing with various things that have gone on over the last couple of weeks, I've been reminded that you guys and the community, we've built up a real family, and never more so over the last couple of months, and especially the last couple of weeks, has that been more. I suppose more important, just a sounding board. If anyone needs to chat or just shout or giggle or whatever, listen to us. Start listening to OCD&D. Get that plug in. We have just a great laugh, and we just let all our defenses down and giggle and insult each other, and especially Mark. Mark, hope everything's okay with you, and you know where we are. Also, finally, just want to say hi to Mike and Joe, who dropped in the chat tonight. New friends that we made last night. Went round to theirs for a curry, and it was absolutely fantastic, and lots to drink, and got loads in common. So some really good friends there. And Mike may make an appearance as a guest on OCD&D because he is very excited to play D&D. So it's good to have someone local. Finally, over to you, Greg.
Okay. We wanted to save this last part for the end of the show because it was going to be hard to try and be positive after talking about this. So as if you listened to last week's podcast, hopefully you heard Robin At the beginning of it, did an edit talking about our good friend Gary Lever. Unfortunately, Gary passed away this past week. I'm going to do my best to get through this without crying. Gary was just 31 when he passed away, and it was Monday, July 27th. Gary loved gaming. He was a proud member of the Gamesman podcast. It's going to be tough. He built countless friends across the world through gaming, community, streaming, and of course his podcast, The Gamesman. He was just a crucial part of that. Gary always wanted to bring his love for gaming to enjoy to the viewers around the world, and he did that. His enthusiasm was infectious, and you couldn't help but just love the man. He was selfless, and when it came time to engaging in charity drives to help youth, bring awareness to disability and illness, Gary was there. He took part in Extra Life every year, and he always tried to do his part. And so, with his passing, we as a community have decided to carry his torch for Extra Life this year. So we are helping him raise funds in his name, on his behalf. Gary, we love you. We miss you, man.
Thanks, Craig. Yeah. So we do have an Extra Life link that we'll share with everyone on social media. It's raising great money already. Thank you so much, guys, for donating. Gary just was always, the life of the party. His laugh was so infectious, and he was always there to cheer people on. So
he was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. On that note, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.